Hello all creative people, welcome to my channel in the second episode of 5-Minute Fashion from the Fashion History series. Myself Maitreyi, a fashion designer, consultant and a fashion educator. Today I'm talking about 20th century fashion highlight. So here we will see how the 19th century fashion was so elaborate and in the 20th century fashion saw a shift towards a very practical and comfortable silhouette. So let's start early 20th century fashion, which was of Gibson girl and S-curve silhouette. S-curve silhouette dominated with long dresses, and that shape was achieved by corsets, pushing the chest forward and hip backward. And the Gibson girl was an ink illustration by Charles Dean, and this creation represented thousands of American girls. And it was the trend of that time. People were following this look blindly, which was a feminine idol at this period. And then the next one we talk about is of the 1920s flapper dress. The flapper look was a drop waistline look with bobbed hairstyle, and this style was a liberated style. Hemline was knee length and even more shorter. So trend was changing, fashion was changing over time, and then comes 1930s movie star inspired looks and bias cut, which was introduced by MacLeod, and this was the look of that time. The Hollywood glamour was the main inspiration and influence. The boyish look of 1920s matured into a feminine bias cut silhouettes. Longer lengths were returned at this time. And then MacLeod contribution to the bias cut silhouette was really the trend of the decade. Then comes the fashion of 1940s, utility clothing. This was the time of war. Wartime forced women into factories, and accordingly their fashion also changed. Fashion rationing meant less fullness to skirts, sleeves, and that contributed to the slimmer silhouettes. Alternate materials of fabric like rayon was introduced. So basically the feminine romantic feeling of 30s changed into a mature practical woman of 40s. And then the late 40s was post-war fashion, was new look fashion, and this new look fashion became the prominent fashion of 1950s, and 1950s fashion of new look by Christian Dior is the most popular one. It featured nipped in waist, full skirt, casual wear, saw the rise of poodle skirt, which was more like a circular skirt. So things were changing, the fashion was changing, and every 10 years we can see how the trend was changing. And then comes the mini skirt fashion, mod, hippie movement. This shift moving from more conservative styles of 50s to embrace youth-oriented trend and bold statements we can see in 60s. Youth culture became the major driving force in fashion, with the mini skirts, long boots, mod style, and hippie movement becoming more popular. So here we see in the late 60s the hippie movement embraced a more bohemian aesthetic with flowing maxi dresses, bell bottoms, colorful tie-dye dresses, long beaded necklaces, emphasizing individuality and freedom. So we are talking about the youngsters' freedom. 70s was the look of from hippie to disco. A fashion, the key highlight included the popularity of jumpsuit as this period, patchwork denims along with hot pants, and this was the result of bold and expressive style. We were talking and showcasing freedom and individuality in clothing choices at this time. 80s was the power suit time. 1980s fashion was characterized by the bold colors, exaggerated silhouettes, mix of styles including power dressing, punk, athletic wear, preppy styles. Here we can see the way so many subcultures paved their way during this time in fashion. So 1990s was the time of grunge and glamour. The rise of grunge, the minimalistic aesthetic, and the influence of hip-hop culture. Key trends included slip dresses, crop tops, mom jeans, oversized silhouettes, and athletic wear. So 90s was grunge look, and by this we are at the end of the highlights of 20th century fashion. Hope you like it. If you like it, please subscribe my channel, and thank you for listening to me.